Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror fantasy film, The Frighteners. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie starts with Patricia running around and panicking as she tries to hide from a ghost. Suddenly, a poltergeist appears from the wall and tries to grab her. Patricia avoids it and continues to run away. Upstairs, the poltergeist manages to grab her smelly ass, bruising her. Just then, her mother appears with a shotgun and shoots the poltergeist. The scene then shifts to an office, where the two journalists work for a newspaper relating to the mysterious deaths occurring around town. She tells her co-worker to investigate further, and he heads out to gather more information. At a funeral, Frank, a self-proclaimed supernatural expert, arrives to hand out his business cards to the people in mourning. The journalist notices Frank, and so he takes note of his presence at the funeral for a scoop. While Frank is handing the cards out, he gets kicked out of the funeral for being insensitive, and so he leaves out of frustration. Frank drives away, but gets distracted, resulting in him almost crashing into a truck. Fortunately, Frank crashes onto a lawn by barely avoiding the truck. The lawn owner, Ray, gets furious and curses, while Frank leaves the lawn. Later on, a woman named Lucy from the medical center arrives at Patricia's home. She enters and treats Patricia's cuts. Lucy insists on taking Patricia to the clinic as her wound is deep, but the mother declines her offer since she doesn't want Patricia to go outside. The mother orders Patricia to go to her room when Lucy comes up to her and sees bruises. Lucy asks Patricia what caused the bruises, but the mother drags her away from Patricia and strongly tells her to leave. As the mother kicks Lucy's badass out of her house, she reveals that she cannot let Patricia leave due to a criminal case in the past. Then a flashback shows a horrible crime that occurred at a hospital with a criminal named Johnny. The footage shows a 15-year-old Patricia being in court as she was suspected of the associated killings with Johnny. The scene shifts to the present. Lucy then points to Patricia as soon as she sees her in the news footage, realizing that she's connected to Johnny in a romantic way. After watching the documentary, Ray approaches his wife Lucy and gives her a lot of smooches. Ray accidentally finds Frank's business card beside Lucy, making him mad. Suddenly, Ray gets wrapped in a mattress and gets dragged while his wife is on the bed as it starts floating. Lucy then asks for Ray's help and he gets her off the bed. Strange things begin to happen inside their house, and so Lucy rushes to call Frank, but Ray intervenes as he doesn't want Frank inside their home. However, Lucy insists on getting Frank to help. After calling Frank, he arrives at Lucy and Ray's house. Frank investigates the surroundings and prepares to inspect with his trusty gun. Frank sees a number written on Ray's forehead, but Ray doesn't believe him. Instead, he kicks Frank's badass out of their house. Out of nowhere, a poltergeist appears on the wall unbeknownst to them. Later on, Frank arrives at his place. Two ghost helpers appear out of Frank's car trunk. Frank asks the ghosts who put the number on Ray's forehead, unamused as he didn't find it funny. However, both the ghosts insist they don't know anything about the number. In the morning, Frank takes a shower when his ghost helper appears from under him. Frank kicks his face out of annoyance. After the shower, Frank and his ghost helper talk about their business ethics, but suddenly, another gunslinging ghost helper appears, holding a gun and initiates a shooting to panic. After what happened, the helper talks about quitting haunting Frank. Frank opposes his opinion as he would go out of business if the helper were to quit. The next day, Frank gathers all of his ghost accomplices and talks about the mail he received from the bank, giving him an eviction notice. The ghosts then make a plan to con a rich person's mansion in order to get paid big money unknown to Frank. And so, the two ghost helpers head over to a wealthy person's mansion. They hold the fat babies of the rich person up in the air, scaring the nanny. Then, the mother rushes to see what's happening. When she arrives, the babies go towards her, causing her to stumble down. Frank receives a call from the same woman, and so he rushes to go to their house. As Frank enters the house, the woman looks at him suspiciously. The two ghost helpers try to tell him something, but Frank continues playing his facade as if he's not seeing them. The woman shows him a newspaper with his face on the head title, where he's slandered for harassing people during the funeral. Later on, Frank goes to the journalist, complaining about the newspaper and wanting to clear his name. But the journalist kicks Frank out of her office. While leaving, Frank bumps into a guy whose shirt design is related to death. Frank almost gets hit by a car, but he moves on like nothing happened. Unexpectedly, Lucy, who appears to be sad, is inside a car, which grabs Frank's attention for a moment, but he continues to walk away. Suddenly, Frank sees a ghost, Ray, running towards him, asking for help. This indicates that Ray died shortly after he got a number on his forehead. Frank tries to calm Ray down as he explains what had happened to him. Ray asks Frank to give him a ride to go to his own funeral. While on their way, a ghost sheriff recognizes Frank. Frank tells Ray to go ahead, as it seems like the sheriff is not fond of Frank. The ghost sheriff tries to kick Frank away from the cemetery, but Frank manages to go on. On the other hand, Ray is emotional as he sees his wife, Lucy, crying. Ray suddenly falls to the dug-up ground where his casket is going to be. As the casket lowers down, Ray sees his lifeless body lying down inside the casket. Ray asks Frank to get him out of the hole, but Frank can't do anything as there are many people around. The town sheriff approaches Frank, sharing his concern about the mysterious deaths occurring in their town. He asks Frank if he has any idea what's going on. Frank asks Sheriff if he can pay his last respects to Ray, so Sheriff leaves him alone. Frank grabs Ray's ghostly hand, finally getting him out of the hole, but Sheriff looks back at Ray and witnesses the scenario. Lucy approaches Frank and asks him if her husband has any message for her. Frank hesitates to answer. Ray insists on telling his wife that he's beside Frank. Lucy is about to leave when Frank calls out to him, saying Ray's last message for her. At night in a restaurant, Lucy arrives and sits down with Frank at a table. Lucy then asks Frank if Ray is with them. Frank nods. As they talk, Lucy asks Frank how he can see ghosts. Frank then continues to explain, saying that he had a car accident 5 years ago that caused him to see ghosts after the incident. Frank suggests Lucy talk to Ray. Lucy asks her husband where the $16,000 money is, as her attorneys can't seem to find it anywhere. Frank answers that Ray had blown it up on a bad investment. Lucy gets down, and Frank tries to comfort her using his muscles, making Ray angry. Ray leaves, threatening Frank. Frank excuses himself to the bathroom. While cleaning himself, a gentleman joins him inside the bathroom. Frank sees a number on the man's forehead, the same as when he saw Ray's forehead back then. Suddenly, the poltergeist appears out of the wall. Frank gets alerted, while the man is confused in his smelly business. The man tries to wash his hands quickly while watching Frank. The poltergeist appears from the mirror and stabs the man's heart, which kills him. Frank witnesses this, realizing that the numbers are a sign of someone who is next to die from the poltergeist. Just then, white light appears, and the man's ghost goes towards it. Frank quickly escapes the scenario, making him a suspect in the death of the man. While cops are discussing the sudden death of the man, Frank chases the poltergeist down. On the other hand, Sheriff interviews Lucy about his interaction with Frank. A detective arrives and joins in the discussion. Detective asks Lucy questions and proceeds to talk about Frank's past, explaining the car accident Frank had in the past. Detective also accuses Frank of murdering his own wife. Frank goes towards where the light is. He sees another lifeless person, which means the poltergeist has just killed another person. At the museum, Frank stumbles upon the journalist. Frank sees the number 40 on her forehead. Frank tries to tell her, but she misunderstands Frank. Frank is concerned as the poltergeist arrives, finding the journalist. Fortunately, one of Frank's ghost helper arrives in time and shoots the poltergeist, making it go away temporarily. Another 2 ghost helpers arrive, helping Frank to escape. Out of the blue, the poltergeist reappears and slices one helper in half. After that, Frank knocks the journalist out and brings her with him. Frank drives as fast as he can while the poltergeist chases them down. The journalist gains consciousness and Frank orders her to stay down. Frank suddenly remembers the accident he had with his wife, making the car crash down the hill. The journalist tries to run away, but Frank insists on telling her about her situation. The poltergeist manages to get and kill the journalist. Then her ghost appears and criticizes Frank, asking him if it felt good killing her and his late wife. The next day, Frank arrives at the police station, reporting the journalist's death. Lucy comes up to him as the cops arrest Frank. Lucy leaves and enters her car. Ray appears and complains to his wife, but Lucy can't see nor hear him as he's a ghost. Later on, Detective interrogates Frank. Frank shares that he has seen death and he can communicate with spirits, but Detective continues to accuse him of murdering people. The 2 ghost helpers arrive at the station and find Frank inside a cellar. They try to convince him to escape, but Frank only stares at the space without saying anything. Outside the cell, Detective and Sheriff observe Frank. Sheriff points out that they don't have any evidence of him relating to their deaths, but Detective ignores him. On the other hand, Lucy arrives at Frank's house. Lucy hears Patricia's mother on the telephone, asking for help as Patricia is communicating with the evil one. Lucy goes to Patricia's house. She sees the mother leave the house, so she takes this opportunity to enter without permission. Patricia calls out to Lucy, and they quickly enter Patricia's room as the mother enters their home. Lucy then asks Patricia if it's her mother who has been hurting her. Patricia denies Lucy's accusation, as she doesn't understand what Lucy meant by her question. Patricia embraces Lucy while weeping. Patricia confesses that the bruises were from something that's haunting them in their house, which is hinted to be from an urn where her father's ashes are. The father of Patricia killed himself after the murders, as it ruined his reputation. Lucy and Patricia read a newspaper relating to the incident in the past, and Patricia feels the guilt weighing on her life as she became an accomplice and rumored lover of Johnny. Patricia adds that she thought Johnny was going to kill her, so she played along Johnny's killing spree. Lucy encourages Patricia to get out of their house and start over, as she isn't really at fault. Suddenly, the mother calls for Patricia, so she quickly hides Lucy inside the closet. After some time, Lucy tries to sneak out of the house when suddenly a poltergeist appears from the urn and goes into the wall. Ray follows the poltergeist inside, while Lucy exits without noticing it and enters her car. The poltergeist tears Ray's face and throws his torn-apart body in front of Lucy's car. Lucy visits Frank in the station. She shares about what she had found inside the old lady's closet. She insists Frank's innocence, but Frank seems to be ignoring her. Lucy wipes Frank's tears, and they embrace each other. Suddenly, Frank sees a number on Lucy's forehead. The poltergeist appears and tries to grab Lucy's heart. Fortunately, the two ghost helpers manage to drive the poltergeist out before he could get Lucy's heart. Lucy gets confused as to what is happening. Suddenly, the poltergeist comes back and kills one helper's ghost. The ghost helper covers for them as Frank and Lucy escape. While running, they get greeted by a detective. The poltergeist catches up to them, but the ghost helper stops the poltergeist before it can get to them. Lucy distracts detective by blowing the fire extinguisher on him. The poltergeist kills that ghost helper too, but Frank and Lucy manage to run away. Lucy injects Frank with a medicine that will slow his heart rate so that he will temporarily die and let his ghost fight off the poltergeist. Frank proceeds to enter a freezer. Lucy cries as she can't guarantee reviving Frank after 20 minutes. Detective suddenly appears out of nowhere, ruining their plan. Lucy tries to open the freezer to get Frank out, but Detective holds her at gunpoint so that she doesn't revive Frank. After some time, Frank's spirit goes out of his body. Frank searches for Lucy and sees the poltergeist following the police car, so he rushes to follow it. The poltergeist is about to get Lucy when Frank pushes the poltergeist off. Detective stops the car at a cemetery. As Lucy shouts, he puts his palm up in the mirror, revealing a swastika logo. He gets out of his car and unbuttons his shirt, revealing a lot of man-made marks he's done to himself. While Detective murmurs to himself, explaining his marks and weird fetish, Lucy tries to unlock her handcuffs. Detective goes out of his mind and tries to unleash the power of mind control. Frank arrives and drives his car. Unaware, Detective thinks that he's the one moving the car. The ghost sheriff from before appears and drags Frank out of the car, making the car crash to the wall. The poltergeist almost gets Lucy, but Frank shoots the poltergeist down with ghost guns. Frank fights the poltergeist and wins against it. Frank then reveals the true identity of the poltergeist. It's Johnny, the exact criminal from the past. Johnny tries to escape, but Frank manages to chase him. Frank grabs his scythe and is about to slice him up, but Lucy revives Frank's body and gets his soul back to his human body. Frank informs Lucy about Johnny and orders her to get Patricia out of the house. Lucy heads to Patricia and tries to convince her to leave the house. The mother goes downstairs and orders Patricia to go to her bedroom. After some time, Johnny arrives and talks to Patricia about beating a record, indicating that they'll kill more than they killed in the past, as they number their victims' heads as the kill count. Patricia gets delighted by what Johnny has said, which confuses Lucy. Patricia keeps on playing her act, revealing that she is really Johnny's psychotic lover. This means that Patricia lied to everyone else, including Lucy, about her relationship with Johnny. Patricia excuses herself to get a coat, but in truth, she's plotting to kill Lucy. Lucy goes upstairs to check up on Patricia's mother, but she finds her lying down in her bed, blood-soaked and lifeless. As Lucy turns around, Patricia tries to stab her with a knife. Lucy fights back. Lucy is about to escape when Johnny grabs her. Frank arrives and gets the poltergeist off of her. They run towards Patricia's room. Frank reveals that Patricia has been keeping Johnny's ashes with her, and not her father's, and that the identity of the poltergeist is Johnny. Frank tells Lucy that they need to get Johnny's ashes to the other side, so they head to a nearby church. They hide as Patricia follows them with a shotgun. They manage to get away and search for the church inside the abandoned hospital. They rush to head to the 4th floor. Patricia catches up to them and fires the shotgun. Frank and Lucy run away as fast as they can, getting separated. Detective shows up and grabs Lucy from behind. Frank tries to search for Lucy. Lucy manages to get away from Detective and enters an elevator. Patricia then goes to the elevator as she hears it operating. Frank takes the opportunity to use the staircase to go upstairs. Frank arrives at the church and finds Lucy stuck inside a jammed elevator. She then hands Johnny's ashes to Frank. Frank tries to destroy the entrance of the church, when suddenly, Johnny's ashes accidentally gets flown away. Detective catches the ashes and pours them all down. Frank gets devastated by his action. Detective continues to nag him, thinking that what he did was right before shooting Frank. Patricia also arrives behind Frank. Fortunately, Frank falls down at the right time from a hole on the floor, making Patricia hit Detective instead with her shotgun. Patricia then fires at the elevator, causing the elevator to head downwards. Lucy quickly gets out of the elevator, but Patricia knocks Lucy down and aims her gun at Frank. Johnny encourages her to kill Frank. Patricia pulls the trigger, but fortunately, she is out of ammo. She then chokes Frank with her shotgun. Lucy is devastated as she sees Frank die. Patricia picks up an axe and tries to murder Lucy, but Frank's ghost appears and grabs Patricia. A light suddenly appears and tries to swallow both Patricia and Frank's souls, guiding them to heaven. Frank tries to lure Johnny using Patricia, so the three of them get swallowed by the light. Johnny manages to grab Patricia as Frank continues to go up to heaven. Frank thought he failed in making them pass on. However, the two ghost helpers show up in heaven and tell him he succeeded. Suddenly, the tunnel of light transforms into a grotesque look, swallowing both Johnny and Patricia as tentacles feed on their souls. The two ghost helpers appear and inform Frank that it's not his time yet, and so one of them pushes Frank off, returning him to his body on Earth. Frank gains consciousness. Lucy finally feels relief and is ready to start their hormone ship. This Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.